All right, let's try this again. Chardonnay back. Hopefully my microphone is working. Let me know if it's not. It's gonna be a rough go tonight, I think, man. With the weather, I'm getting like 2 bars on my modem that I have out here. Alright, welcome, Mike. Sorry about that. A little stormy here, so having some internet issues. Yeah, no, I paid the bill, man. That's not it. So like I said, I got a little bit of blowout here on the side. Must have been when I was kind of going at it aggressively earlier, off camera. Or when I was going through with one of those Forstner bits, maybe I got a little too close to that edge before I put a stop cut in. That's why I was always talking about doing stop cuts, because you don't want to end up blowing stuff out, and that's what happened there. Yeah, audio's a little tricky. I don't know what kind of micing you're using right now, Mike, but you know, lots of different mic options that you can. RJ, he missed your message. RJ, Mr. Seaton. Oh, okay, I do remember. Is it Roderick? I'm pretty good with the 3,000 students that I taught. Is it Roderick? Did I get your name right? RJ? Remember, I taught through like 3,000 kids, so give me a break. I think it's Roderick. Probably more than that, actually. Huh, I got it right. See? I do have a pretty good memory, man. Especially my long term. Like, I can sometimes bank stuff. You could ask me a week later, I won't remember. Ask me a year later, I'll remember it. I have no idea why. Well, welcome, Roderick. Welcome, RJ. It's Dad's Workshop. Whole different way to look at Mr. Seaton. And as I recall, you're from way back in the day. 2000 aughts. Probably, right? When I taught you. Or 2010, 2011. I mean, at the latest, probably. Well, welcome, man. Yeah, maybe the Bluetooth microphone, mic. Because you don't need like super high quality. You just want something that's going to get your, you know, I mean, if you care about what my unsolicited advice is. Maybe that lavalier mic is the way to go. You don't have to worry about the soundboard and mixing board until like you're really serious about, doing stuff with audio. You might never have to mess with that. Because it's not like you're putting a band on stage, Then that mixing board and all that stuff is really important. Well, RJ, if you're still there, here we hang out. We just talk, chat, talk about projects we're working on and random world stuff. You know, we don't worry too much about continuity and things like that, but we try to finish projects. Oh, there's Daniel. See, that's my guy. It's my people, always helping, man. I love that. Trying to get this joint real clean because, like I said, the insides, if they're rounded at all, it's not going to really, you know, we're not going to get the same fit. Is that right? Man, I need a licensed professional counselor in my life, man. Congratulations on doing so well, though, man. I'm glad you're doing something that's helping people. Proud of you for that, Robbie. As you know, some of your classmates and stuff, you know, they didn't do as well. Even some we may not have expected to go the wrong route. Not the luck of where they grew up, the draw. Professional counselor now. Uh-oh, looks like we're freezing again. Stupid thing. Don't freeze. Freeze. It's freezing. I guess I'm not fortunate because tonight, Gelato Creations, welcome, welcome. Roderick, if you're still there. Roderick, if you're still there. Got a couple questions for Roderick if he's there. Okay. Okay. So it's either on my end here. It's probably on my end, but it's probably on my end, but yeah.
My internet went down too, so I came out here to make sure that you weren't moving, but it didn't look like you were. I came out here to make sure that you weren't moving, but it didn't look like you were. I think it slowed for a second.
It's coming back.
Yeah, I think this is what it did before. I've never seen it actually come back.
Yeah. I think it's that box over there.
I think, yeah, it's that. It's a bad day for the internet.
Well, I think the box is acting wonky too. It's cutting out and back on, and I was doing that when I started today. I was a little worried. Did we get Eddie up in here tonight? I think tonight the whole goal was to just have the live and just, you know, see if I could have the live, you know. Without having a problem, you know, or get through something on here. See, that looks good. Nothing wrong with that.
No, now it looks fine. The storm passed. It was the second thing of it passed by.
Ah, okay.
We got some calm in the middle.
Oh, good. So we're back. So that's good. Not to say it won't be out again, but welcome to Dad's Workshop, folks. Where we're dealing with some storms and some weather here, but still trying to get stuff done. Just because my chisel in there like this, I can tell you this joint's not going to be wide enough for the tenon to go through, so it has to be worked a little bit. How do you think Roderick found out about it on YouTube? Or I mean, Facebook? Was it on Facebook?
Yeah, I bet he probably was Facebook and YouTube, but I bet he was subbed because he popped in. I didn't post this one on Facebook yet.
Oh, okay. So he must be a sub then. I'm glad to see people doing well, getting professional jobs and stuff like that, doing well for themselves. It's on?
Yeah, I'm lowering it, which means
Good.
nothing.
That's good, Mike. I'm glad to know that this thing is working now. Like I said, I had a little blowout here. Seems like maybe the joint's just a little bit tight here in the middle. But some of that stuff I'm going to work as I try to fit them. I don't want to take too much out and then regret it later. I'm going to focus some on these corners because that's where the roundness is the worst usually. I usually take a small chisel and go straight down in the corners and then come from the other side. Oh, good. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. Well, I loved all y'all, man. You know, I love the kids. I didn't leave because of the kids. Shinto rasp. I never heard of that. Mike says he thinks I would benefit from Shinto rasp. Definitely right now I want a rasp to go through this thing real bad because I feel like I could take a lot of material out.
Sounds like a new toy.
This is just a file, but that's similar to what a rasp is. Kind of where I get to that point where I definitely a tool I keep forgetting to get is a rasp. Something I need here in the workshop. Let's see how this looks. Lattice work. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about, man. It's like a really crude rasp. I think I've seen those before. They look almost like cheese graters, right? Kind of looks like a cheese grater. I think I do know what you're talking about. Appreciate Roderick coming in. RJ, new friend of the program, former student. Shout out Dieter. Dieter Scheiding. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correct. From Germany, I imagine. That is a German name. Shout out to friend of the program, Chardonnay. Mike is making stuff. Palato Creations. Daniel Gandara. I don't know if Ruiz is in tonight. Is Ruiz in here tonight? So shout out to all those folks for being in here. Welcome to Dad's Workshop, where we're always busting our tail doing something. We're going to cut this joint out now. I'm going to start making some saw cuts. with this little saw here. Oh, they are? So they're not the crude looking ones, because I was thinking they were like the cheese grater ones. I'm going to cut this shoulder right here. It's not usually recommended to do this first, but and the other shoulder. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Yeah, be sure you click that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're into I guess we would call this rustic furniture construction. I have this rustic furniture book about building furniture from saplings and things like that. Doesn't give you any exact instructions on anything. It's considered one of the textbooks on building like rustic furniture and outdoor furniture with raw, like, kind of small lumber. I think I showed you all this before though. And what you do is you basically take each piece of lumber, piece of, sapling, you take one of these bits, and this bit right here is basically like, not like a force, kind of like the opposite of a Forstner bit. It spins around. This is missing one blade on it, but it still works. It turns the tip of the piece of wood into like a pencil shape. And then you use a Forstner bit to cut the other thing, and it fits right in. So you can take saplings and pieces of wood and actually turn it into rustic furniture. This bit was super expensive. I've only used it a couple times. Actually, when I very first started woodworking, I did a bunch of furniture with this piece. Now that's how I lost that one blade. Yeah. It cuts round tenons and cones off the top of the piece of wood. So besides, the blade is curved there, so it actually cuts a curve and cuts the top to a tenon and then the side to like a pencil shape. Yeah, it's a pretty cool piece. They're kind of expensive if you find them on Amazon. That was one of the better ones with 2 blades on it. Took me a while to find that one. Yeah, they're pretty fun, man. And I built a couple pieces with them. I think I probably gave them away, but you can build benches and arbors and all kinds of rustic stuff, or you can basically bushcraft stuff if all you have is a screw gun. Of course, you could do this all with hatchets and knives too, but it's just a quicker way to do that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely, it's meant for green woodworking, meant for cutting down green saplings and working the green wood. And obviously, whenever green wood shrinks, those joints will shrink, so you cut them a little oversized and glue it in oversized, so as it shrinks, it still stays in the mortise. Yep, great stuff. I love show and tell with my woodworking stuff. Like I may have started my whole channel just to like show crap that I built up, People like that show and tell stuff, Mike. Yeah. One of my best videos was me like with all my chisels laid out on the table, and I just sharpened stuff for the whole. That was one of my first videos, and I got like a lot of views on that. Just a round table with all my, I hadn't built my bench yet. All right, so now we got those pieces out. I'm gonna go around and put little stop cuts here. Probably will try to take pieces out when I do it. I gotta skip the live. I'm way behind on my chat, my version of the video. Hold on. Wow, we're doing really good here on Dad's Workshop. Welcome to Dad's Workshop, ladies and gentlemen, where we do woodworking, fashion, rustic furniture out of common dimensional lumber. So glad to have everybody here. My name is Calvin. We got a bunch of people in the chat who I'd like to introduce you to. Mike is making stuff. All of these folks in the chat are our friends here. We got RJ Tool, or Too Well, depending on how he wants me to pronounce that. We got Pilato Creations. Mike is making stuff. Dieter Scheiding. We got Chardonnay. We got Daniel Gandara, all in the chat, all friends of the program. So welcome. Become a friend of the program and subscribe. That's all you got to do. Costs you nothing. Free shout outs. That's what we do here. Mike's got his own channel. Check his stuff out too. It's going to come off nice and easy there. I'm excited because this is the last through mortise for this bunk bed that we're building now. I've done over the last couple weeks 3 more of these. This is the last one of the 4 that we need to have our 4 posts. So excited about that, and to move on to the next section of the bunk bed project. I always aim for perfection, and if mediocrity is what I end up with, I'm usually not upset with that. You know, I always want the best, but what we do is we just aim for precision, you know. And sometimes, you know, things like this little piece of blowout, you know, this is construction grade lumber, not furniture grade. So what we're trying to do is build furniture grade products with construction grade lumber, and that's, you know, that's a challenge. So we're gonna make it look good though. Think about a bunk bed though. It's really it's a piece of construction and not so much. It's like construction and furniture. Yeah, I've got this little mallet, and I think it was one of y'all that told me to build these mallets on the live, so I did these. I got the little mallet here, and then I got my big mallet behind me. They're both made out. This one's maple with an ash handle, and I got some cherry on it. And then the other one is ash with an ash handle. So both of them real tough. Okay. Well, it wasn't my mallet, Mike, but I did like it. I'm not going to lie. That was the Appalachian wood, Appalachian I don't know. It's called, I think it's called Appalachian Homestead. Appalachian Homestead. That's what it's called. That channel. Good channel, man. They do a lot of cool stuff. Yeah, their mallet is like the size of this entire beam with a mallet head like this big on it. I mean, he's a small man. Well, yeah, I mean, it's for timber framing, but it's not my mallet, so you'll have to take a shot at them for that. I did leave a comment about their mallet. I mean, I did have a little mallet envy. I would be lying if I said I was not a little bit mallet envious. You know, that feeling that you want to have the same size mallet as the guy you see on YouTube, you know. You watch the movie and the guy had a huge mallet, you know, you want a huge mallet too. Now I'm gonna leave it at that. All right. Now what I said I was gonna do once I finish these sides, I gotta clean the other side out a bit, is I wanna go through, I actually wanna sand these tenons. I'm gonna sand them a little bit, clean them up so that when they go through, they don't catch on the pieces of wood that are in there, which could be a problem, you know. I don't want them to be loose, and I don't want them to be tight. I want them somewhere in the middle. You know, when you're working with joinery, especially when you got two boards laminated like this, if a piece goes through and it's too wide, the stress will just split these two boards apart, and so we cannot have that. We cannot have that, ladies and gentlemen. But the first thing to do is make sure these are all clean and square. Oh, okay. Well, we say what's up to Ruiz from a distance. Shout out to Ruiz wherever he is out there in this wide world. Friend of the program, Ruiz. By the way, join the, you know, become a subscriber to the channel. Drop a comment so we can give you a shout out. Are you talking about for pegs? Yeah, so yeah, that's generally, I haven't even bored peg holes for my other bed yet. That's a good question, Mike. I generally want my pegs to actually, my beds are so sturdy without even the pegs not in them, that all I want to do is put the pegs through and be able to knock those pegs back through. So in this case, I'm actually going to bore all the way through flush, because the peg actually doesn't need to bear any weight. And the timber frame people, if you bear with me for a second, the timber frame experts I've talked to, though I have heard ones that draw bore and then force the dowel in. I was with a timber framer who was disassembling a plantation house that was made with timber frame joinery, and the pegs were like, it's hard to describe to you. They look like the mallet here on the end. The pegs were worn down in the middle, and that's because they were drawboard or the joinery wasn't as fit as well. So the stresses actually were coming down to the peg, and it should never happen like that. You should have some engineering redundancy around your structure so that you don't have to, like with a piece this small, I don't think I need to draw bore it. But I get what you're saying. And actually Appalachian Homestead, they were talking about it on a video, how they draw bore theirs through and actually purposely misalign the holes so that when they put those pegs in, they are under tension. But I don't think I need to do that, because like the through mortises are going to be under tension. My other piece is really sturdy without the pegs in. So all I'm going to do is put holes through and put the pegs in there so that if there's any play in there, the pegs will catch it. If I answer your question. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So it's the draw boring, the idea of putting a peg in it slightly at off angle so that it's biting and binding the piece together, especially for a timber frame, is a good idea. But for a bed that needs to be disassembled and the pegs essentially need to come back out, you want to be able to pop the pegs back out. And you can't do that if you draw board, if that answers your question completely. I hope it does. Yeah, I actually was taught that's not the way to do things. And then I watched a bunch of videos and heard other people say that is the way to do things. So I need to get a consensus vote from timber framers as to whether they should draw bore or not, or use tension like that. I know if you're going to take the pegs out, you don't want to do that because it's going to make it impossible to remove the pegs. But if you're building a timber frame structure like a building, a shed, a house, and you want it under tension, you're not going to pull those pegs out again. They're going to be in there forever. So putting the pegs in with under tension seems logical to me. Yeah. Yeah. Which is trickier actually, man. You know? What's up, Max Gaming? Yeah, I haven't even put my holes through yet. I want to get a device like basically like a one of those movable drill presses so that when I put it through, it's the opposite. I'm putting it through exactly at that angle all the way through. I'm going to use a slightly oversized dowel. I'm going to sand it down. I've done this before. And then hopefully the dowel will be just tight enough in there so it will, hold and have some tensile strength. Max Gaming, what I'm working on right now, thanks for showing up. Thanks for making a comment. I'm working on a bunk bed right now. This is just one post for a bunk bed set that I'm building with traditional joinery. So thank you for the question and thanks for being here, Max Gaming. All right. So I'm working on clearing these out. I'm going to take a small chisel. I'm going to go through those corners just to make sure. I got this tiny mortise chisel right here. I'm going to go through these corners and just kind of punch downward to try to get these corners square. I need to do this with all the joints, every corner. This is going to make sure that I have square corners. Really hard to eyeball these things, I'll tell you that right now. Yeah, man, the Japanese got really cool joinery, man. They got the coolest stuff. Some of the stuff that they pull off, man. It's just, the Japanese culture, though, is a culture of intricacy. They respect intricacy, even when it's unnecessary. Their plan on beating us in World War II was so intricate, it almost was too much. So yeah, like I love the Japanese joinery, man. They don't even use that many corner braces like we do in Western timber framing. Most of their stuff is done with lightweight construction timber framing. So they're putting like tiny pieces of wood. They're not scared of someone busting in their house because they don't have a crime issue like we do here. So their walls will be made of rice paper, right? And you have a sliding, not a sliding dovetail, but like a sliding pocket door, basically, that's made of rice paper, and it can pull out and change the space between two different. No, I've made one of these before, Max. This is my second one of these bunk beds in this style. Yeah. Oh yeah, I think what you're talking about is you're talking about a scarf joint. which we have in Western. This is a joint that existed in Western and Eastern timber framing. It connects to elongated pieces of wood end to end. It's the only joint that takes a piece of wood and joins it end to end. Yeah. Sounds like a scarf joint. I was just telling Heather about those, why we don't really need those here. They're super cool, but we don't really need them in the West because we have big, tall trees. So we can get long pieces of wood, make it unnecessary to have a joint that hooks. And then this joint hooks, and then there's tension put on this with a gap here where there's a piece of wood hammered in, and it pulls the joint together like this under tension. Very, very much like what Mike is talking about. Yeah. Yep. I've seen them in Western, because in England they were deforested in England by 1100 after the Norman conquest. So they had to build a lot of their timber frame structures in England and even in Germany using scarf joints. And there's scarf joints all over the old battleships. They couldn't get long enough pieces of wood to stretch the entire side of a battleship, so they had to scarf. The shipwrights had to use scarf joints. That was a common shipwrighting joint, for sure. The Vikings used them all the time. The way the Vikings tightened their scarf joints, though, was with ropes and like tourniquets almost. They tightened them. Then they had like, I don't know what you would call those, like cleats almost. And then the cleats were tightened with like these tourniquets, and that pulled the wood together. They didn't use any pegs. They used mostly ropes. Great stuff, though. All right. I'm going to file this out a little bit, and then I'm going to move on to my next one. I'm going to move on to the tenons. I'm going to get the tenons out, and I'm going to work the tenons a little bit before I wrap it up for Monday night. What is that, Max? I'm lost. Explain to me what you're talking about. Talking about Western shooting, like pow pow. Those guys are pretty cool too. It's my ancestors, man. What's the XFDA, Max? Quick draw. That stuff's cool to people that can shoot through the side of a playing card. Cool stuff, man. Go over to this other joint here. Work on this one for a bit here. And then probably on Tuesday, what we'll do is I'll have Miss Heather come in here, and we'll size the posts against the through beams. You know, we'll put them on so you can see them actually connect. Yeah, those are cool, man. That quick draw stuff is cool, man. Cool stuff. My friend told me you need to practice that stuff for home defense anyway. A friend of mine, you know, like Mike and a bunch of the other veterans here. I'm not a veteran. A friend of mine always tells me that I need to know how to pull my pistol and fire quickly. At close range, that's like a key thing. Now I'm at the range quite a bit, but you know, like I used to be. Haven't been in a while. But I took my time there. I didn't like practice drawing quickly and stuff like that. Especially when you have a Taurus judge, it doesn't really matter how quickly you draw. Thing just peppers everything. That's cool, Max. I'm glad to have a quick draw competition shooter in my live stream. Can't say I would have called that one. Yeah. Yeah, so like my Taurus judge had 410, took 410 and 45s in the same cylinder. So you could load it with half 410s and half 45s. I sold that pistol though. I don't have that anymore. It was nice though. Taurus judge. Get the all stainless one. Sexy. Taurus doesn't pay me anything to say that either. Of course, only if you're mentally able to handle such a thing and if you're a responsible person who knows how to lock up their pistol and keep it away from children and all that stuff, man, you know. I'll throw that disclaimer in there when they come to go through all my videos for monetization. All I'm doing is just expressing my political opinion. Not really saying anything, you know, advertising anything necessarily. Some tells me he's not in the U.S. though. Max Gaming, where are you from? You from Scotland? Oh, no, he's not from the U.S. though. I mean, it's hard to get quick draw pistols in, like in England and Scotland. They don't really allow people to have pistols. Pretty rare. Uh-oh. Max, are you in the U.S.? I mean, it makes sense you would be. This mortise here, lots of knots in this, and this is going to be tricky to get down to size because it's not going to let me chisel consistently through it. Oh, you are in Scotland, okay. Where you at in Scotland, man? Are you in the lowlands? Or are you in the highlands, man? My people, my ancestors are from East Lothian. In the lowlands. Yeah, but you know, over there in Scotland and England, man, they're not allowed to have rifled, really rifled anything. You got to have special permits for all that. They might do quick draw with pellets or airsoft, but you have to have extreme, like, it's kind of hard to explain that the red tape you have to go through in order to get. Yeah, I got ancestors from Norway too. But my folks in Scotland are from, well, my ancestors from Scotland are from East Lothian in the lowlands. So I just wondered where you were at. Whenever I meet Scottish people, I always ask them. Yeah, man, a lot of people in Scotland have Norwegian ancestry too, man. Going back to Macbeth times, we've been dabbling with the Norse, man. You know. It's really close. It's all part of the same. I mean, in ancient times, it would have all been part of the Northern Kingdom, right? England, Denmark, Scandinavia, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and you know, Jersey and the other islands. Check my text. Okay. Do I got a booger on my nose? Okay, Max. That's fine. Thanks, Miss Heather. Oh, cool, man. Keep that. Keep that. Lock fine, huh? You got Scottish ancestors too, Mike? Probably related way back. Yeah, I had a DNA test recently. Said I got pretty like very close relatives that live in what you call it, what's that part of, it's northern English, man, Newcastle upon Tyne, and then the other upper parts of England I've got, and it's Stirling and in Edinburgh I still have like really close relatives there. Kind of strange, man. It's probably double dipping, to be honest, not to be gross about it, but you know. Probably the same reason I got, you know, celiac disease. The reason that, you know, I got all that DNA. Everybody has ancestors, Max. Heather will tell you what she is. I love this conversation. All right, man. I'm going to take this off. Put my chisels aside for a minute. Pull out some of the tenons that I've got and work those tenons down while I got folks here. This is going to be tricky. I'll start with I'm coming back, folks. Trust me. This is one of the tie beams here. Let's see if I can clamp this in and work on it in this vise. This is a lot of weight on this. I'll move the camera a little bit. There we go. Interesting. Conquistadors. This is the one that I had to repair with some glue because of the knot. It split. This was several weeks ago. Saxon smashers. Yeah, I don't know if they called them that. I'm going to move this a little bit here, and I'm going to have to move the camera again because the fulcrum of this thing is a little further back. Hopefully that holds. All right, hopefully this is like, you can see this. We're gonna clean this up a little bit. Some with the chisel, but also with sandpaper and a file, because it's probably just about right to get in there. And then I'll bring one of these mortises up and try it on while it's in the clamp. I can see that towards the shoulder, the joint is wider, right? So I don't want that to happen here. I want this to be flush all the way. So I'm gonna kind of go from a diagonal angle here, try to pare away some of this stuff I'm seeing towards the shoulder. You can't see me do it on that side. But this side's not so much as the other side. It's a little bit uneven. I can tell this is one of the ones that I tried the router jig with. And got a little away from me a little bit now. Hold on, what time is it in Scotland right now? Isn't it like 1:30 in the morning? Max, are you sneaking onto the computer? He didn't answer my question. You know, I'm 13. I'll be fine. Well, you know, we all need our sleep, Max. You know, you can stay here and grace us with your presence if you want. See how he corrected me? Ha ha. I'm 13, old man. Mind your business. I'm seeing a pencil line right here. Like I didn't even take it all the way down to the cut line here. I don't trust that though. I'm trying to make this smooth enough it doesn't want to catch or bite on the way in. Oh, it's 6:30 at night for us, 6:30 p.m. for us, man. But I know what time it is over there. It's like 1:30 in the morning over there. Sign to the world. We call them Machine Gun Max. Magazine Max. All right, Max, if you come on my live from now on, we're going to call you Machine Gun Max. Not because I want you to do anything violent, because I want you to be nice to the people around you. Treat people with respect and don't do crazy stuff. We're going to call you Magazine Max or something like that. Which one do you like better? Machine Gun Max or Magazine Max? You like that? You like that? Machine Gun Max. Alrighty, folks, let's try this real quick. I know this is not going to work, but we might as well try it anyway since we're getting toward the end of the live stream here. Things are winding down a little bit. Oh, look at that. Move these little chisels here. Doubt this is going to fit, but let's try it. This is the way it's supposed to go. Kind of need a, it's not going to do it on the bench. But this joint goes in here. Wonder if I can lean it back. Lean with it. I still won't fit. Yeah, nah. What's the way I can do it? If I pull this up all the way to the top of this vise. Sorry, microphone. What I'm trying to do is fit this joint on here. Still can't do it. But this is the joint that's supposed to fit right here if you all can see. I don't know if you can see right now. I probably moved it too far down. Yeah, nah, it's not gonna work, but it does look like it's sized right. So when I do get a hand to help, we will be able to try it. Paco, what's up? Yeah. Let's see. Mike, if I can do what you're saying. Not in there real sturdy.
Say bye to Machine Gun Max.
Oh, bye, Machine Gun Max. Go get some sleep. You got school tomorrow. Be up so late. Yeah. That's about right. I mean, that's really tight. If I was to hammer it, I might knock this piece out. Looks like I need to go after this corner a little bit. Are you able to see this? So this is our bottom joint right here. Let me get this thing here. Yeah, so it just needs some pairing. Not the, I don't think the tenon does. I think the Mortise does. Because it feels like maybe it's just a little shy. The shoulder's a little shy of where it needs to be. And bottom here, I can see some waste in there I need to take away. I can try a different one with it too. It might fit. They all should be the same, but you know how that works. This one fits a little bit better. Still, looks like I need to just chisel out a little bit on the shoulder area to make sure that that gets in there. Last time I made the tenons smaller. This time the mortise and the tenons are equal in size. So it's going to be a little tighter. Put a little more stress on the lamination too. All right, well, that'll do it. That'll do it for today. Raise his hand. Mike, I'm calling on you. Man, it's hot. All of a sudden it got really hot in here. I'm listening. You got your hand raised before I roll out. Any questions? Yeah, I looked at it. In the mortise, though, it looks like the bottoms of it a little bit rounded off. It seems like, though, maybe if I could take the camera over here, I'll show you, Mike. You do see my cut line. I don't know if you can see my cut line right there. It is shy of my line slightly, so you're not wrong, but I don't want to take too much off. If I can just square out the tenon, you know, I think that's the ticket. But you're right. There is more meat, more support wood, or more paring that has to be done, I believe. I so appreciate everyone coming to Dad's Workshop tonight. If you're new to Dad's Workshop, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. Join the Discord. Send me a DM. Check out my social media. My name is Calvin Seaton. I have an Instagram. It's really poor Instagram. I don't keep it up very well. I also have a Facebook. Check me out there. DM me. You know, let's build this thing. And I will be back tomorrow at 5:30 to do the same thing. Keep working on this piece. And appreciate everybody. Mike is making stuff. Machine Gun Max. RJ2L, former student. Chardonnay Boys. Chardonnay. I already said Mike. I already said Max. Palato Creations. Thanks for coming through. And anyone else who I'm missing here? Trying to go back in the chat here, see if there's anybody I missed. Nah, so Gandara would be the only one. Chardonnay, Gandara. Mike is making stuff. Machine Gun Max. Did I say Chardonnay already? Chardonnay. Palato Creations. RJ2L. And anybody else who I for some reason forgot about. Shout out to all y'all friends of the program. Hope to see you back tomorrow. Yeah, glad you got your point. So you were the first person here. I will see all your lovely people tomorrow. Give somebody a hug. Tell them you love them. Do the next right thing. Appreciate every moment. Take care.